Okay. So as of right now, to give everybody a heads up, I just double checked. Everybody who has registered for the meeting so far is already here. The registration doesn't close, so people can continue to register, and I'll continue to let them in as time goes on. But we can get started whenever we get ready.
Sorry about that. I was having some audio issues. How is everybody doing? Thank you for being here. And what all did you get the chance to say, Rashad? Because I only caught that last part about letting people in.
Oh, just as a heads up that everybody who's registered is already here and in the meeting. They can continue to register at any point in time and join, and I'll be letting them in throughout the evening. But as of right now, we can start whenever you get ready.
All
And as a
right.
heads up for everybody, please don't feel the need to follow suit. Cameras are optional. I just felt like being handsome today. So,
Well, thank you. Thank you for blessing
Hey,
us with your presence. Hello, hello, Aaliyah.
I'm
How are
walking in
you?
my house right now.
All right. So first things off, I just want to thank everybody that's here today. Um, I'm really excited to see so many people interested in being a part of PGCYD. And I'm just really excited about the things that we're going to all accomplish together. And we're going to move things along. I don't want to keep us here longer than we have to. And yes, the next order of business will be I just want to go through the e-board and just introduce everyone. A lot of us are new to one another, and I want to be able to put a face to the name. We're going to start off with Rashad.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rashad Lloyd. I am the Executive Vice President with the Prince George's County Young Democrats. I've been in this organization for about, oh my God, it's been 6 years already. And I live in New Carrollton. And I am really here just to help with whatever that I can, background coordination, uh, helping organize meetings, helping engage with all the new members. I'm here for all of it. So that's me. And next person up that I see, why don't we kick it to Isaac?
Sorry, buddy. I just got home, so I'm like, munching on, but I'll be quick. Um, my name is Isaac Boateng. I am the Vice President of Community Relations. I don't live in the county, but I am moving in the county by the end of August. Um, um, I also handle all community events and attend all municipal events that happens in the county. I can get to Karen.
Thank you, Isaac. Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see so many faces here. My name is Karen Guzman. I'm the Vice President of Advocacy in the organization, and I also live in the county close to Rashad. I live in Lanham, so right across. And professionally, I work for the County Council for Councilmember Eric Olson, representing District 3. So that includes Lanham, New Carrollton, Riverdale, Bladensburg, College Park, University of Maryland, those types of places. And my role there is Director of Community and Economic Development. And my background before that is really rooted in community organizing around a variety of issues, right? But including health, education, and also immigration rights. And I'll go ahead and pass it on to Aaliyah.
I do want to just circle back to Isaac because Karen did talk about her employment. You can talk about your employment. You said you don't live in Prince George's, but you do a lot of work in Prince George's. Can you tell
Yes.
people a little bit about that?
Yes, Madam President. Yes, I do. So I currently work for the State Attorney's Office, Miss Aisha Braveboy. I am the municipal liaison for her office, and I basically work with all the municipalities in the county and attend meetings on behalf of the State Attorney and any issues or concerns that our office can handle or be involved with, I represent those issues. I've done some work with Mr. Olson's office with Julio. So that's what I do for the county.
And Kat, right?
And Cat, yes, and Cat, yes, 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 yes. So let's hope that come March 4th, we have the next county executive as Miss Aisha Brayboy. Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name's Aaliyah. I think I've met everyone. I currently work with, I joined, this is my first year with PGCYD, but I've been familiar with some of the people affiliated for a little longer. Right now, I work for State Senator Antonio Hayes. He represents West Baltimore. So if you have ties to Baltimore, that's who I deal with every day. I am from Largo in PG County, and I currently reside in Beltsville, not too far from Laurel. And yeah, I'm VP of Internal Affairs. So holla at me.
Thank you, Aaliyah.
I guess, Jenny, do you want to go?
We're gonna wait to do Dunny.
Okay.
I think all of us. Oh, actually, I did introduce myself. So I am Calandra Young. I'm the president, and I reside in the city of Laurel. The next thing that we want to move it along to is our special elections, and it will be for the vice president of programming. And Aaliyah, do you mind just giving a general overview, not too many words, but just a general overview of what that's going to look like? Thank you.
Yeah, so our open position that we'll be voting for will be VP of Programming, as Kalanja mentioned. The candidate will introduce himself, and then we'll all vote via chat. So you'll send a direct message to me here on Zoom, and we'll go from there. If you have any questions about the process, or you have questions for the candidate, I think we can also coordinate that as well.
Thank you. So Paul, you can go ahead and you can unmute yourself. You have up to 2 minutes. You don't have to take up all of the 2 minutes. I don't want that to be intimidating. Just to go ahead and give yourself an introduction and tell us why you want to be a part of the board.
All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Paul. I've lived in PG all my life. I may not have spent too much time doing this. It's only been a year since I left high school, but in that time, I've got involved with 4 or 5 different campaigns. So that's meant a lot of organizing events, dealing with some nightmare schedules, and a lot of helping other people achieve their vision. So I want to bring a little bit of that experience to the board, especially since no one else seemed too willing to step up for that. And so I just want to, help make sure that we're keeping present in the community and that all our advocacy efforts are as effective as they can be.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you for joining us as well. Wait, Kalanja, did you have something to say?
I was just telling Paul thank you and just checking in to see if he had anything else he wanted to add. And I see that Rashad has a question.
Rashad, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Paul. I couldn't be more excited to have you. And just to let everybody who's going to end up watching this know, Paul meant what he said. We sent out this notification to over 440 people. Each person on this board has reached out to people that they know individually. And out of everybody, Paul was the one who stepped up and said, I will take on this responsibility. And it is something that I appreciate more than I can explain right this second. And I couldn't be prouder, couldn't be more happy to get the chance to work with him in just a few minutes, man.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for showing up for Advocacy Day as well. Just we can tell your dedication already, trust me. So now is the time. Now that he's introduced himself, does anyone else have any questions or comments for Paul?
I'm just curious. Would love to know what campaigns you worked in. Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, or any of your general experience that you want to share.
Yeah, sure. So one of them has just been through my work with the Department of the Environment. So that was, a lot of working with teachers and faith groups to get a climate education week going. Politically, it's been like locally, Ryan Middleton. I was part of Angela Alsobrooks' campaign, volunteered for that. During the summer, I was door knocking for Jamie Raskin. I've been doing a lot of organizing for ranked choice voting more recently, and there is a fifth one, maybe, that I'm forgetting.
No worries. Thank you for sharing. That's super amazing, by the way.
Okay, thank you, great, Karen. I don't know why I keep saying Grace. Isaac or Dunny, do you guys have any questions, or are we ready to vote?
If they don't, I want to throw in
No.
one more thing
Oh,
because
yeah.
Well, I have one question. What are you gonna say? What's that?
Oh, go ahead. You have
What school did you go to in the county? What school did you go to? What high school did you go to in the county?
I graduated from DeMatha.
Oh, okay, so DC. Okay. Smart boy. That's it.
anything else?
all right. So just it's not even a question, it's more so a statement. And just to share a little more excitement, Paul, you mentioned ranked choice voting, and let me tell you what. I love the idea. I can't wait until we get started working on that because boy do we need it. And let me give everybody a short example of why. Isaac, you mentioned the county executive race. We all know that ballots went out. We all know that there were people who voted for Jolene Ivey before she suspended her campaign. If we had ranked choice voting in this county right now, those votes wouldn't go to waste because right now they're going to. They've already been submitted. There's no way to pull them back. There's no way to edit them. If we had a system like that in place, we could make sure that every single voice always counts. So as soon as you mentioned it, excitement went further through the roof. Let's go, man.
Yes. Well, did anybody else have anything that they would like to add? Any other questions that they would like to ask Paul? All right.
Righty.
So, all right. Do you want to make the motion, Aaliyah?
Um, yeah, what's the most?
I didn't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you now.
Oh,
I
what's
can, I can do it. I'll go ahead. I'll move to elect Paul Cruz as the PGCYD Vice President of Programming.
wait? You can just
Does anybody,
or do you want to do verbal or um
we could do it, we could do it through the chat.
okay. Send me a yay or nay and I'll counter up.
Yes, you can vote, Paul.
Alrighty. I think everyone has voted. It's a unanimous. Yay. So, yeah, I want to move to instate Mr. Paul Cruz as VP of Program.
Well, welcome, Paul. Welcome to the board.
Wait, let me send some reactions.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. Do you see the reactions being sent to you?
We
All
appreciate
right. So,
Calandra, what you want to do?
okay. So the next thing that we are going to move to is assigning people to their committees. So the first person that I would like to assign is Miss Dunny Ani. Please let me know if I said your last name incorrectly. Um, and feel free to come off of mute and turn your camera on if you would like. And just let us know why you would like to be the chair of the education committee. And, and that's it.
Hey y'all, my name is pronounced Dooney Oni.
Dooney Oni.
You were
Thank
close
you.
enough.
My Nigerian sister.
Yes. Um, yes, so I like to be education committee chair because I do believe education is the foundation of opportunity and I think sorry, I had something prepared here, so I'm like trying to read it. One
It's
moment.
okay. It's okay.
Essentially, basically, I just feel like there's a lot of intersection between education and all the other committees. I think there's different, programs and just advocacy efforts that can come from education committee. And then also with the collaboration with the different high schools and universities in the area, I think there's just like a lot of partnerships that can happen through the education committee. So I would absolutely be honored to lead the education committee.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being interested. Thank you for putting yourself out there. And we're gonna have some fun. This is gonna be a brand new committee. We never had the education committee, and I know you're gonna do some great things, and we're gonna make some good collaborations. All right. The next person that I would like to announce to a committee is Mr. David Lay, to the Policy and Advocacy Committee. And I also just want to thank you for being here today, Mr. David Lay.
I don't see David on.
Let's see.
Engage.
Rashad, did he join us today?
He did not. There are
Oh,
a handful of people who we should still announce they're joining the committees, but had
yeah.
other commitments today that they can't make it. So
Okay.
we
I
want to
mean,
put,
that's fine.
yeah, I do definitely want to show some appreciation to Councilman Lai for joining the Education Committee. I know from personal
Yes.
experience in talking with him, education is his whole passion from top to bottom. If you bring up education to him, you are in for a conversation where you're certainly going to learn something and he's going to learn something from you.
And I just want to say this is actually Rashad's representative for where he lives, and he's now joining one of our committees today. So it's really awesome. I'm glad that you made that connection happen.
Oh,
I
yeah, baby.
am
Oh,
having
ain't gonna
some
show out.
issues. Sorry.
I said, yeah, baby. Y'all know New Carrollton gonna show out.
I don't know about the mayor though.
Rashad, if you can move things along, I'm just having an issue with my camera. I may have to exit and come back in.
Yeah, that's no problem. That'll give me
Okay.
about 2 seconds. Let me get back to this. I've been shooting out messages on the side, reminding people to join the meeting if they can. So, And there we go. All right. So for the next up, when it comes to announcing the new committee members that we have, and I do want to roll it back for a second, just to say something about Dooney. We weren't ever going to have an education committee. We have an education committee because she said we should have one. She told Kalandra and I, this is what I want to do. And it's like, hey, when you have somebody come to you with that type of drive, that type of passion, you just give them the space and opportunity to flourish. That's your only option. And now we have a whole new committee that can help with our efforts across the county. I couldn't be more appreciative. That's one thing I wanted to throw out there. Now, for next up on new committee members, we're going to have Trey Baskin, who is joining the Policy and Advocacy Committee along with Public Relations. After him, we have Yale is the nickname. The first name is Adideo Adelini Adenii, who will also be joining Policy and Advocacy. And then we have Tariq Maninzi, who will be joining Policy and Advocacy and Finances and Fundraising, along with helping out here and there on the Elections Committee. And I tell you one thing, we have such a strong group of people who signed up for Policy and Advocacy. You're going to see PGCYD all over the place. We're talking state, county, municipal. You know what? If we get everything together, we may even dive in a little bit of federal work. We'll see. But that is going to be the end of the announcements for the committee members. The next thing we're going to do is take just a quick minute because we should be having our guest speaker sign on in about 1 to 5 minutes. And our guest speaker is Deputy State's Attorney Perry Paylor, who will be joining us, in just a few minutes. So we're going to hold here. If you would like, we can break into a small general discussion while we wait.
Hello. Where are we at right now?
So right now we are just waiting for Perry to hop on. I told everybody he should be here in about 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
I know 7:30, and that if we would like, we could open it up for a light round of general discussion if there's anything on anybody's mind.
Did we already went through all of the new committee members and announced all of them?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay. I didn't get the chance to check all of the participants. Is Tariq on the call?
No.
No, he didn't join. Let me try to reach out to him.
Mm-hmm. Figure we'll send after this, we can send messages out to all of the new committee members, letting them know that they're in the committees that they've signed up for, getting them in contact with the VP that committee would fall under, and then letting them know next steps, like, selecting chairs, vice chairs, and then having a discussion about what first rounds of their efforts are going to look like.
Yes. Oh, and I do want to piggyback off of what Rashad was saying before my phone cut out. I do want to thank Dooney. Did I say it right this time? Or is
Yeah,
it done?
Dooney.
Dooney, I'm sorry. Um, I want to just thank you for even bringing it to our attention that it would be good for us to have an education committee, especially during the time that we're in right now with so many things being up in the air. I work in early child care, so it means a lot to me. So thank you. And thank you for just everybody else for just being here and wanting to be a part of this organization and wanting to drive change forward. And it really means a lot. And I know us working together, we're gonna be able to accomplish a lot, especially as we continue to build and grow and put ourselves out there. I just wanted to make that message. Rashad, did I give you Perry's number? Have you reached out to him via text or only by email?
I hit him up by email earlier. Give me a second. Let me shoot him a
And-
text.
Okay. I'm gonna send him a text real quick.
Okay.
And also, is Henry still on the call?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hey, Henry. So we
Oh,
have the Young Dems president here, and I just wanted to give him a moment to introduce himself to the board.
uh, thanks, Madam President. Hi, everyone. I'm Henry. I'm the president of Young Democrats of Maryland. So sorry, I'm just on my phone while I do grad school work along with session work. I work for Delegate Jazz Lewis, a very proud Prince Georgian, who's also a Young Dem. So it's great to meet everyone and hope to see you all in person when things are less crazy. Thank you so much for being part of PGCYD. It's one of the most important local chapters we have across the state, and I'm thrilled to see y'all doing the yeoman's work of getting things running. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much for that, Henry. I really appreciate it. Any luck on your end with Perry, Rashad? We spoke.
I'm sorry, Cal. I may have a bad reception. You cut off. My apologies.
Are we still in a general discussion?
We are just about to end it because our special guest has just arrived.
Oh, you got it.
But while he's loading in, if you would like to prime something for when he finishes, I'm all for it, man.
I guess I was wondering how much like outreach there was, well, like interfacing between us and the high school Democrats. I wasn't really, I'm not really aware of how many there are, but I did know that at least some schools like Roosevelt had them.
I can answer that question real quick before we even have to move on. Virtually none. And it's definitely been one of the things that both Kalandra and I have been like, this is an easy W right here. Like, that's something that we can drive and get some immediate results, especially because we want to make sure that the next generation of young Democrats knows about PGCYD. I didn't know about PGCYD until I was in my early 20s. And I only found out because I was spitting mad and I had zero direction, zero focus. And I got lucky that the president at the time found me and helped give me a little direction. PGCYD was my first introduction to speaking to elected officials. My first committee was our legislative committee, which is another project that I want to get up and running because it put all of us directly in the face of the people we represented so that we could ask them questions. It was eye-opening, and I want to be able to give that same experience to the next generation of young Dems so they can give it to the next and the one after that. So now that that's out of the way, I would like to go ahead and open up the floor to Assistant State's Attorney Perry Paylor. If you are ready, sir, we are all here for you.
I am. First of all, I just want to thank everyone for joining this evening. And I am particularly pleased to be with Young Democrats, Prince George's County Young Democrats, PGCYD. Often young folks get tagged with apathy, right? That they don't get involved. And what you have to remember that young people at all phases of every revolution has young people who have changed this country at every level. And so we need you now more than ever. We need your focus, your energy, and your determination to make things change. And I'm just so happy to have the opportunity to speak with you guys today. So thank you very much. And Kalandra mentioned something about the size. Well, we don't have a big group. And I told her that's great because I just want the leaders. You know what I mean? The leaders aren't in the big crowd. You know what I mean? It's who's the best basketball player ever? You just say one name. You just say Michael Jordan. You don't say 50 names. Who's the best surgeon? It's the small group of people make the most change. And so I always take advantage of the young small groups. Well, we only have 5 people. These are the 5 people that are going to lead and make the changes, right? So just thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. So let me tell you a little bit about myself, a little personal and professional. So excuse some of the noise you're here. I'm attending Maryland's MBE night, and it's hosted in Annapolis. And that's where business leaders come together with state elected officials, and they talk about contracting and contracting opportunities in the minority community with, partnering with contracting opportunities in the state. So that's the event I'm in tonight. I kind of ducked away in a restaurant, but I wanted, it was important for me to meet with you guys today. So personally, born and raised in Silver Spring, Maryland. And hey, how are you? And I was everybody saying hello to me now, but I'm stay focused. And I started my career. I went to college at Hampton University, went to law school at North Carolina Central University, and I started my legal career as an assistant state's attorney in Prince George's County. And that was back in 1998, and I had a little afro, and I 2003, and then I had my own law practice for 15 years. Somebody put their hand up if my internet gets shaky, okay, let me know. I practiced law for 15 years. Miss Brave Boy then became the state's attorney, and she gave me the opportunity to come back in a leadership role. I joined the office as chief of the Guns and Drugs Unit, and after about a year, I was promoted to deputy state's attorney. I manage about 5 different units, so I have about 4 or 5 unit chiefs that report to me, and on any given day, I'm responsible for about 1,000 criminal cases. Personally, I'm married, 2 kids. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and I attend Kingdom Fellowship Church, where, believe it or not, I sing in the men's choir. And so those are just some of my activities. Frustrated basketball player. I picked up tennis instead and kind of do golf. And just really glad to be in the community. I work most of my life, I worked in Prince George's County most of my career. I've moved back and forth between Montgomery and Prince George's County. And at some point I was living in Montgomery County and people love my boss, Ms. Braveboy. Everybody loves a lot of her initiatives and we can talk about it. And I was recruited to run for state's attorney in Montgomery County. And we did well. We came up a little short, and I've always owned a home in both counties. And so I relocated back. I moved back to Prince George's County a couple of years ago, me and my wife. And so we're here in Prince George's County, and I'm just excited about the opportunity to serve. And we're really excited about Miss Braveboy and her, the prospects for her special election are looking right now. So that's pretty much it. I can get more into detail about the office, but I figure it'd be more beneficial just to start out and entertain questions once you guys have my background. Is that enough? I can talk about myself and run all the time, but I didn't want to do that. I really want to be considerate of you guys and really get to your questions.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you just so much for being here. Thank you for your words of wisdom. And we can start off with any questions. Does anybody want to start off with a question I have?
Mr. Lloyd.
Right, I think Rashad has a question.
You look excited for your question. You're smiling.
All my life, I only have two moods, and most people only get to see one, so that's good.
All right.
So, looking a bit about your background, I mean, it's outstanding. There's no question about it. One thing that I got a nice chuckle out of is that you started working in the state's attorney's office when my family first moved into Prince George's County. Like I remember 1998, like it's the back of my hand. Oh, what is that? Like it's the back of my hand. So that I love because it made me immediately go, oh, this is somebody who's been around as long as I've been around. I can learn something. I have two questions. One, I've never heard of the chief of like guns and drugs unit. What did working in that department look like?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. So what I always tell people, to be candid, every era there's a civil rights issue. And and people don't, when I say this to people, they look at me and they raise their eyes. Really, for me and my generation, the largest civil rights era for issue for my era will be marijuana and the transition from it being illegal to legal. And what you have to remember is that cannabis itself, the possession, the odor, things of that nature, my generation all the way through your generation grew up with it being not only just illegal in and of itself, but it has served as the basis for probable cause for lawful searches and seizures. And so I joined the unit when we were in that weird phase, that transformational phase. It wasn't like you woke up one day and it was illegal, and then you woke up the next day and it was legal. We went through several iterations. Then you had this civil amount, and then you had under 10 grams. They kept changing it. They merged into it. And what that created during the period was confusion. And when you have confusion, it wasn't only confusing to the end user, to the people in the community, it was confusing to the law enforcement, to the police. And I'm gonna just be candid. When there's confusion, often Black and brown men, their lives are at risk, right? And so we know that a typical scenario, and if you ride around Prince George's County, and unfortunately, depending on how you feel about it, you can smell when people have weed in the car. You can smell it going up 202, you can smell it. Well, up until June of 2023, that was a lawful reason to conduct a traffic stop and search your vehicle. So where we were in a situation where, just like all other social change, the culture changes before the law. So while marijuana was becoming culturally accepted and becoming more prominent in our practice, the law hadn't changed. And so that created more interaction between citizens, particularly young Black men, and police, which, ended in resulted in a lot of arrests. And so one of the things that the state attorney asked me to do when I as chief, and then as I got promoted, we had to come up with a policy. See, because that's what leadership is. You got to come up with a policy before the law changes to push the law to where it needs to be. So one of the things we did back in 2019 is we no longer were prosecuting simple possession for marijuana. Now, for this generation and my kids, they're that kid, my daughter that just is a junior in college, they're used to it being legal, right? Because it's been legal for 2 years now during their formative years, right? To the end of high school, first 2 years of college. But for this generation now, it's huge for us to say we're no longer prosecuting possession. And then we had to go a step further that we weren't doing felony possession of marijuana for less than a pound. And if you Google my name, Perry Paylor, and Maryland Matters, you can see I addressed the legislature and I'm saying, hey, look, you can't have you be part of the culture and push it on music, push it on TV shows, and continue to promote it. And then at the same time, hold our youngest and most impressionable group responsible to not only some of the lawful consequences, but then some of the unplanned, unwarranted consequences that come out of so much interaction between law enforcement and citizens. And so that was really what kind of made up my tenure as chief of the Guns and Drugs Unit. And I'm gonna tell you, sometimes, we had some uncomfortable conversations with police when we had to say, I'll give you an example. The state of the law says, and I mean 2 years ago, up to 2 years ago, a canine hit, and when I mean that, if a dog detects and alerts, that means bark, sit down and bark on marijuana, a police could automatically search your car. That's how the law was. So that meant back in 2022, 2021, 2022, they could just walk their car through Wegmans parking lot, right? And we all know it would have alerted. It would have alerted on a lot of cars. And so we were like, look, we understand, we understand what you're saying, but we need more than that. And particularly people share cars, I remember having to, I shared cars with some folks, my car. I said, look, man, y'all better air this out. I'm a prosecutor. You can't bring my car back. All crazy. You know what I mean? And with the green trees, I know you're laughing, Kalaj. Right. I can't be out someplace and the dog come alert. And that's all of us, parents share their kids, cars with their kids, things of that nature. So we had to take a hard stance that you need to have more. And that was before the law changed. And so we were ahead of the curve on that. And so to answer your question, Mr. Lloyd, these are some of the issues that we had to deal with and, trying to make sure that the traffic stops and the searches were for reasons other than cannabis. And it was hard changing police culture, police, some of them worked 20 and 30 years and they were trained a certain way. And this was a practice. And all of a sudden somebody comes and say, hey, that's no longer the practice. And, it's not easy. It's like it's not like moving a little yacht or a little boat. It's a battleship. Culture is big and it takes a lot to shift culture. But we've had success with that and it's a continuing process. So I hope that answers your question in terms of guns and drugs. And then the last thing I'm gonna say, Mr. Lewis, is once we kind of dealing with the culture of marijuana, we still had guns and ghost guns, and then we have fentanyl. And so we're in the middle of dealing with the opioid crisis. And what I would say to that is even managing, my attorneys is that young people, a lot of times most of the time fentanyl is ingested, it's in counterfeit pills. So people don't know what they're taking. Like if people want to smoke weed, they know, hey, I'm going to smoke weed, right? I'm going to smoke marijuana. Somebody's going to take cocaine, they know, hey, I'm going to go take this cocaine or heroin or PCP has a specific odor. But then kids are saying, hey, I got these oxy pills, I got these Percocet pills, and they don't know what they're taking. They don't know they're ingesting fentanyl. And so that's been another level of messaging. And so not only do we prosecute cases, but we have had to work with law enforcement to communicate that because, we have level that. And part of my job, I have two things that I do. I sit on a board, for the fatality review team. We look at all the overdose deaths in Prince George's County. And then I sit on the opioid crisis. So not only do we look at deaths, but we review all the times an ambulance is called. And so just to review data, look at geographic locations and some of the demographics of those who are being called. What we're seeing is a really good success as it relates to Narcan. That's what people are given when they suffer an attack. And so we're seeing the overdose numbers decline, but that's due to underreporting, because if somebody has an overdose, they use Narcan and then they're okay, that's not necessarily reporting. Some people skew those numbers, and when you're in college and when you're young, you were supposed to take statistics. Nobody loves statistics. I didn't understand when as a lawyer, why do I need statistics? But you need it for everything. And that's not only do you need to understand, you need to be able to interpret it and know what's real and know what's not. And so by that, I can tell you, when we see our Narcan is being distributed and we're seeing the use of Narcan goes up and our reported overdose go down, that doesn't mean we're seeing a reduction. Are y'all with me? We're not seeing a reduction in the use of the pills. We're seeing an effective medication that helps with the symptoms of overdose. So now the overdoses aren't being reported at the same level. And one of the things I got to do as a public speaker is know when to cut myself off, right? So, because I'm passionate about what I do, I could have kept going, but I'm going to make sure we get enough questions. Mr. Lewis, did I answer? Mr. Lloyd, did I answer your question?
You did. You did. And I had initially set it up as a two-parter, and you turned around and you answered the first one so well, you automatically transitioned into the second one, which was, what initiative have you worked on in the state's attorney's office? Or what initiative does the state's attorney's office have that you are extremely passionate about and that has directly impacted our community?
Well, yeah, that's it. It definitely is. It definitely is.
So you
All
you
right.
cleared up both of mine in one swing.
Okay. All right. All right. Does anybody else have anything for me? I'm facing tough questions.
If no one else, oh, Aaliyah has her hand up.
Sorry, yeah. Just
No,
one,
go ahead.
because I'm considering going to law school, so I just was curious, when you kind of decided you would use your position that you've eventually come into to use it for like your idea of justice, basically.
You know what? That's a good question. Justice has evolved since I started to practice the law. So what that means, when I was a young prosecutor, to be quite candid, I thought, oh, just win the case and send people to jail. So I started out as a criminal prosecutor from 1998 to 2003. Then I went into private practice. So now I'm defending folks that are charged. And then obviously that made me look at it from a different perspective of what justice meant. And I did that for 15 years. So I was only a prosecutor for what, 4 or 5 years? And then I did defense work for 15 years. And it wasn't until Ms. Braveboy won state's attorney's office. She won in 2018. We came in 2019. But she forced us as part of criminal justice reform to look at it from a different perspective and really expand our definition of justice and what it meant. And, one of the things that I've always been open to is looking at things from a different angle and having an open mind. And I think what she exposed us to and looking at what justice meant, expanding that view has really helped the community. And so a couple of things I want to talk about with respect to changing what justice looks like. During this last presidential election, we heard a lot about a program called Back on Track program. And this was a program that was started by Vice President Kamala Harris when she was the district attorney in San Francisco. And let me talk about the program and how it started and what we did with it in Prince George's County. It started for first-time low-level drug dealers, right? And so what we've seen is that a lot of times people fall into, young kids fall into the practice of selling drugs, and they're not juveniles. By law, you're a juvenile or you become an adult at 18, right? But we know in terms of cognitive development, things of that nature, you can be over 18, 19, 20, 21 and still not be fully mature, particularly in young men. And so what this program is you get arrested. If you want, you can go to jail, you can get convicted of the felony. And this is, felony drug dealer. And then you can face jail time. And the alternative, what we offer is a program where if you agree, now you plead guilty, you have the felony conviction on your record, and instead of jail, we offer you opportunity to do 280 hours of community service. We offer life skills and mentoring, but we also have an arrangement with asset forfeiture, monies that are seized from the really big Scarface level drug dealers. We take that money and we have a partnership with Prince George's County Community College where we offer academic training in our program. For some, it's GED, for others, it's a full high school diploma, and for others, it's certification programs like bookkeeping, like veterinarian, like the CDL for the truck drivers, HVAC, things that you choose. So you get in the program you choose. And it takes about 12 to 18 months to finish the program. But here's the highlight. At the end of the program, once you've completed all the requirements and the academic portion, you get what's called in Maryland probation before judgment. And that means your conviction is stricken, so you have not been convicted of a crime. And then we negotiated with the state, and you're now eligible for an immediate expungement. And so once you've completed the program, not only do you've done the community service, so that's how we've got our accountability. You've taken advantage of the life mentoring, life skills. We also work with Employed Prince George's to get you a job. And then you have a different credential to give you the foundation to turn your life around and get on the right track. So that's why we call it Back on Track. And we've just had phenomenal success with that program. And so that's a program I run, and it's called Back on Track. Now, these are young people who have never been to jail. And one of the things that we want to make sure is they don't get indoctrinated and institutionalized. That's why we're passionate about the side of it. And then we have another side that we call the Emerging Adult Program. And in the Emerging Adult Program, well, we noticed about 35% of the state correctional. I mean, these are felons, these are people who've committed the armed carjackings, the most, violent crime. We don't accept murderers or violent sex offenders in the EAP program, but we do accept violent criminals, armed robbers, things of that nature. And what that is we noticed that there was a high level of returning citizens between the ages of 18 and 26. And that seems to be when young guys they're not juveniles according to the law anymore, but they still find themselves committing violence, and they can go to jail 5, 7, 8 years, but they're returning back to our county. They're returning home to us. And so what we've worked out a program is we identify certain cohorts. And what I mean, like anywhere between 5 to 6 kids, young people, y'all are not kids, young people. And between the ages of 18 and 26, and about a year to 14 months out, prior to them returning home, we start working with our nonprofits. We have mentors, and we go in and work with them regarding housing insecurity, employment, once again, education, what credentials, anywhere from job interviewing skills, resume, things of that nature. And then we prepare them for success upon release. So it's not just we send you home. We send you, hold on. Well, I'm gonna come on over here. Come on, look, I'm gonna bring my man. Now he's our principal deputy state's attorney, and this is Jason Abbott, and he's the one that runs our EAP program. So he runs that side. So
how you doing?
I keep them out, and Jason helps them out when they're in and they're coming out, right? So we have different sides of and this is Prince George's County Young Dems.
Yes.
We see a familiar name on
Yeah, we see Isaac on there. Yeah. Great to meet you all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey,
Thank you
Perry.
for all you do.
Guys, he has his hand up. We're not going on.
Yeah, no. You can block that one out. Great to meet you all. Yeah.
And we're
Yes.
gonna right here takes you to the garage, so you don't even have to go outside.
Oh, okay. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So I just wanted you to see Jason. So it's a real, real program. So it's called Emerging Adult Program. We call it EAP for short. And so we've gotten some funding, and our nonprofit is headed by a retired NFL player, Derek Finner, who went to Oxon Hill High School. He played his college ball at Chapel Hill and then played for the Seahawks and the Raiders. And so we, that's a real, and we run our program, a cohort of about 6 to 8 at a time. And that's because they come together virtually. So they're in state penitentiary, they come together virtually, and then the mentoring and all the accountability is all done virtually. And then sometimes our nonprofit partners will go visit them and start to prepare them for release. And that's important because logistically, we haven't been able to run a co-ed cohort because state penitentiary, they have their rules and regulations. And so we're looking to get, luckily we don't have that many female inmates where we can run a gender reflective program, but we are preparing for that. Just haven't had the numbers because they got to have enough guards, and it has to make sense, and they have to logistically be able to do that. But we are preparing to do that. We're gearing up to do that. We're prepared on our end. It's what we can get the Department of Corrections to do, if that makes sense, right? So on our end, we want to make sure we're offering that program to everyone, but sadly, we just have so many more men that need the services, but we are geared up and ready to go when we can get a female cohort. All right. Did I answer that question? Look, was that too much, Ms. Martin?
Lee, thank you. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate hearing about your experience. And yeah, it just encourages me that there's people accomplishing the things that you've accomplished, and you're in the positions that you are. So thank you. I really appreciate you.
Right, so it looks like Isaac has his hand up. Let's call on him. Let's see what Isaac wants. What's up, Isaac?
Let's see
How
what
you doing?
Isaac has to ask.
How you doing, sir? How you doing?
Great.
I want to thank you. I'm actually at work. I'm doing a double, so I'm actually going back in there, giving people some liquor. But I'll be quick. Mr. Paylor, as you know, I worked in the office, but now I'm out of the office. I wanted to ask you, as you know, that our boss is running for county exec. What is your future hopes and plan for you in the current position you're in? What is your hopes and plans in the future for the county? And how can we, as young Dems, be supportive and help with that plan?
Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. And so here's how it is. There's and when I was young, no one kind of teaches you the protocol. You just kind of learn it. And so I want to be clear about the protocol. Right now, we have a sitting state's attorney, and she's doing a great job, and she's my boss. And so my job is to support her as long as she's the state's attorney, right? That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. But after the primary, what I'd like y'all to do is ask me that question again after March 4th, and then we'll be exploring all of our options. And at that time, I'd love to come back and talk about my plans, but there's just an appropriate place and time to answer those questions. And right now, my job is to support the sitting state's attorney as long as she serves as state's attorney. And that's as far as I see into the future. But you call me on March 5th and we expect, well, look, March 6th, because I'm asleep on the 5th.
March 6th. Let's hope for that.
We're going to be celebrating on March 4th and March 5th. And then on March 6th, then obviously, we'll be able to, focus our attention elsewhere. But I do serve as deputy state's attorney, and along with Mr. Abbott, we have a third deputy, and we do run the office. So I do have experience. We're an office of over 200 employees and about a $28-29 million budget. And I have experience, trial attorney, but also I have the executive management function to do both trial the cases and manage an office. And so, how about I'm gonna just leave my answer right now? Leave it right there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And please tell Mr. Abbott I said hello.
I will. All right.
Does anybody have? I have two questions, but before I ask my questions, does anybody else have any other questions that they'd like to ask Mr. Perry tonight?
Yeah, Mr. Lloyd. Yeah, come on. Y'all got me.
I have an extremely short follow up about the Back on Track program.
Cool.
I loved hearing about the mentor and the skills, uh, making sure they get their PBJ and the expungement. I have a question. When it comes to mentoring those skills, say you have someone going through like mentoring with an HVAC program, is there a path in this program to help them get a state certification so they can actually do the work that they're training on as a career afterwards?
Yeah, my answer with that is we partner with a couple of the unions who help them with apprenticeships. And then, at some point we hand them off. And so, um, uh, so I think through the apprenticeship programs, they become eligible for the state certifications. But that's as far as we take them, because one of the things with the expungement, because people always have to ask about aftercare, but with the expungement, they don't want to look back. It's gone off their record. You can't find it when you do an internet search. And so they don't want to see us. We don't want to see, we wish them well, right? But they put the courthouse and police stations behind them and then gone. Some of them do come back and speak to some of the younger class members, you know what I mean? But for the most part, we want them out in the world just doing great. So we don't have as much follow-up as I would like. But that's because when someone gets an expungement, it's totally confidential. It's gone from their record and they kind of move on with their life.
You hit it. That's all I needed to know. Thank you, sir.
So the question I have is, how does the office handle cases involving youth offenders? And are there any diversion programs in place that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, over and above Back on Track, how can I say this? Because I just said the word kids, right? Let's define juveniles, right? Because that's different. Juveniles can be anyone under the age of 17, depending on the offense, anywhere between 10 and 17. They're juvenile offenders. Anybody under 10 can't be charged in any case, right? And so I'm sorry, I'm at the event. But
No, you're fine.
we have several diversion programs usually linked to our juvenile unit. So we have a youth justice unit where people charged with juvenile offenses go to that unit, and then they're exposed to different diversion programs that we have. And usually with the diversion programs, they're run through the juvenile court. And so the young people can be adjudicated in the juvenile system, which is a civil adjudication. So youth, when you're in juvenile court, you're not guilty or not guilty. It's either involved or not involved. So these are civil findings for our young people. But we have a variety of diversion programs that we offer for a lot of our youthful offenders.
Okay.
And we have a specific program that's a juvenile gun court. So we have a specific program for youthful offenders in the juvenile systems who possess a gun. It's only possession. If you use it, you shoot somebody or kill somebody, you're not eligible for the program. You rob somebody, but just the driving in the car, you have it in your waistband, you bring it to school, then you're in our gun offender diversion program where it's monitored by a judge, and it's probably about a year. And you have different requirements, different books they like you to read, different things they have to do, but really coming up with the reasons why you carry a gun and some conflict resolution tools, things of that nature to get someone comfortable, realizing that they don't need to carry a gun.
Okay. Well, thank you. That answered that question. And the last question that I'll ask you is just, do you have any advice that you would give young people who are interested in law, or just young leaders in Prince George's County in general, and um, in just different ways that we can get more involved in the legal and policy discussions?
Sure. Yeah. One of the things that I'm gonna say a couple of tools broadly, the umbrella advice is stay engaged, and then Couple things. One tool that when I was young, it wasn't a thing, but now it's a big deal. You can use this tool called informational interviews. So you all should know who your council person is, your county executive, your federal, part elected officials, but take the time and ask for informational interviews, see if they can reserve 20 minutes for you and go and sit down and ask these questions, research these people, and even businesses and even lawyers, whatever field you want to go in. When you're a young person, you would be surprised. People are eager to talk to you, adults, but they don't always have a vehicle. There's no mechanism. So create the mechanism. And people like me will talk too long. You know what I mean? They have so much that they want to feed you, and don't be nervous, and don't be apprehensive. That one, every older person, even me, when you look back at your life, one thing you wish you would have done is just been bolder. You wish, man, I should have asked her out. I should have applied for that job. I should have went out for the Wizards. You know what I mean? You always like, I should have just done that. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, you're like, man, I should have done that when I was young. And that's what I want y'all to do, is be fearless in this time. You know what I mean? Because we need we need that leadership, and we need that fearlessness. I mean, when you hear the story of like the Black Panthers, I mean, those guys were all 25, 26, and the stuff they did then, like free breakfast, it is echoes through today. And they were just young. You know what I mean? So don't feel like, well, I'm young and I'm kind of timid. It's for the bold. And so, you belong wherever you are, you belong there. Own that space, and don't feel like, well, I got to tiptoe because I'm young. This is your time, and it's your time to lead. But in terms of practice, that's good, sounds good. But in terms of practical tools, I would do informational interviews. And I know everybody financially is in a different situation, but for me, what worked for me, I had a different career path. I was fortunate, I was able to volunteer at the state's attorney's office for about 4 or 5 months. So I never had to like send out a resume and interview. I was fortunate enough to be able to volunteer. And then once I got my law license, it was like I fell into the job. Like, okay, now, oh, you're licensed now, and then you start your job. So, in terms of, and that led to every career opportunity that I've had. And so I used to work with, for instance, I'm 5 years older than Aisha. We worked another job where I was senior to Miss Bravery. And so she didn't directly report to me, but I was in a senior group. She was kind of like in a junior group. But we all worked together. And like now you all are working together as young Dems. These are actually the job interviews of the future. You're going to know as you all get your first job, your second job, and you emerge in leadership, y'all are going to know each other and be like, yeah, Miss Young, you're going to like, I remember Mr. Lloyd, and I remember, Ms. Guzman. Like we all work together, and you all are going to merge as leaders together. But
Yes.
volunteering was critical for me. I was in a situation where I lived at home and I had the means that, I could volunteer. Now I know everybody's financial situation is different, but it doesn't have to be, it could be 2 days a week. Like, I'm working, I got my hustle job because I got to pay my bills, but I want to be a lawyer. Can I come work in the law firm for 4 hours? Things like that. But volunteering is critical, and it really is an extended job interview, because they're like, yeah, we like you, and you can say, you know what, I like them, or that's not really my cup of tea. I don't want to do that, and you can move on. But like I said, for me, I just was blessed with the opportunity to volunteer. And so if you can, that's what I would do. Information interviews and offer to volunteer. And you'd be surprised because, we have volunteers and we're like, man, this person's great. We got to get them some money. And then we'll tell them, find them a grant. Let's get them money. Okay. Oh man, they're doing great. Let's make them permanent. Like, let's find them another job. And so, that's been the definition of my career. I've never got in a situation where I just kind of send in a resume, went and interviewed and got a job. Like every position that I had, even my law practice, my clients came from working in the state's attorney's office. My boss back in the day got elected county executive. And then that led me opening my own practice, which generated clients, right? And so like I said, and then working with Miss Brave Boy, then when she gets elected, I got another opportunity. And so engaging with people. But now, Ms. Young, specifically for your question, that's what I would do. Find somebody that's doing what you want to do and be a rock in their shoe. I want to do informational interview. You go in there, you feel it out. Your spider sense will tell you, like, yeah, this seems cool. Okay. Can I volunteer? Do you have first, ask for a paid? Do you have summer internships? Do you have anything get paid? Well, no. Okay. Well, can I come 1 or 2 days a week? And they'll be like, man, this person must really want this opportunity.
Yeah.
And it was tough I was like 24, 25. And let me tell you, it was tough. I didn't have a lot of money. I was able to, but I went to college and guys had real jobs, driving new cars, dating, taking trips, buying clothes. And here I was like, man, nah, baby, we can go to the 99 cent, movies back when they had that. It was a little different, And
I understand that.
yeah, and then once you catch on, you catch on. And then, things start rolling. So I hope that I answered your question.
Yes, you did. And I really appreciate your answers. I appreciate, again, just you being here, and for everybody who took the time to ask a question. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Is there
Yes.
anything that you want to close us out and say? And I know you have the rest of your night in Annapolis.
Yeah, just, right now, don't underestimate your power. And honestly, we need you. So you look around and see these people are the older people and you're relying on us, but we need your energy, we need your vision, we need your ideas, And so engage in any capacity that you can. And PGCYD, Young Democrats, is a great organization and it gets you access, right? So, right now in the next couple of weeks, this county executive race. Obviously, I'm not objective. I'm with Miss Brave Boy. I work with her, but find a candidate and get out and get engaged. Find somebody that speaks to your issues. And, you all know how to reach me. If you want to connect with Miss Brave Boy, let me know. There's certain events. We need poll workers. We need people to get engaged and work on the polls. And then in elections, we need poll workers who are nonpartisan. So we need to have our people working inside the polling places, right? So that's something that we don't do a lot. But I could go on, but the theme here is to stay engaged and be bold. If I would tell you two things, stay engaged. And look, the feelings of hesitancy, the butterflies, they don't go away. So don't think, man, I'm gonna get to a certain age. I mean, I just grew this goatee out this year. I was like, what is this gray on my face? What is this? But everybody has them. And once you and to tell you the truth, you get to the point where that's what you want. That's living for me. If I get someplace and I'm too comfortable, I want to do something else. I want another challenge. Living is feeling those butterflies in your stomach when you're about to give that speech, or I'm about to give that jury trial, or I'm about to make that move. That, when your heart's pumping, that's exciting. That top of that roller coaster feeling, that click before it goes down, that's what you live for. And I want you guys to bring that to that passion and be like, yeah, I'm going to attack this. So I'm nervous, man. Do I want to talk to this person who's running this big corporation? My hands are sweating, my stomach, I got butterfly. Like, that's it. That's the best feeling. Like, yeah, when you feel that, know you're in the right place. If you're someplace that's totally comfortable, you're doing all right. I mean, but you want to be right there at the cusp, challenging yourself. And that's
Yes.
what I mean. Engage and be bold.
I appreciate that. And that's something I can easily remember and stick to.
All right, all right. And I'd love to come back in March or April. And
of course,
we can talk more about my future plans. And we'll get back together.
yes. Well, before you leave off the call, the former PGCYD president, Martin Mitchell, he's in the group chat. He is saying hello to you and said that your message was great.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, and so what I'm gonna do is I'll put down my
Yes, please drop your contact information.
I'm getting old trying to find chat. Okay. So
Or I can drop it as well.
yeah, and what I'm gonna do is I'll give you my cell, and Kalanja, you have my work cell, but I'm putting my personal cell in here.
Okay. Well, thank
And
you.
my website is my name, perrypaylor.com. It's not up yet, but we expect it to be up in the next couple weeks. So just write that down and then check it, and then we'll go from there. All right. So let me see this, and that's my and that's it. And I just have my cell number. You can call or text or whatever you need. And we'll go from there.
All right. Yes, I just got it. We see it. And thank you. And
All
we
right, y'all.
appreciate the transparency for giving us your personal.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. All right. Well, you all have a great evening, and I'm gonna push my way home. I hope it's not gonna snow this evening. I'm gonna get out of Annapolis safe. So we'll see what
Yes,
happens. It's
please,
cold.
please
It's
get home
cold.
safe.
It's cold.
It's so cold. It's
It's
freezing
cold.
outside.
Yeah. All right, you guys, take care.
You too.
All right, goodbye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Yes, thank you.
Very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank
Of
you.
course. All right. Well,
So cool. Thank you guys for coordinating that. That was fun.
of course. Well, we have made it to the end. I want to go ahead. I want to congratulate Dunny again. I want to congratulate Paul. Um, I guess
Rooney.
before,
Dooney. Yep.
okay.
It's okay, girl.
Dude, no, I got you though. Like I'm not gonna keep doing you like that. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But okay. Um, before we close out, I guess the three things I wanted to bring up were three upcoming initiatives and events that I had in mind. I wanted to bring it to your attention and see what your thoughts were. Um, a county advocacy day where we would do what was similar to what the Young Dems did at the General Assembly, but we would do it for the county. Um, then a PGCYD social and legislative hour. And then for the special elections, once we get through the primary, we can talk more about like different grassroots efforts that we can do. Phone banking, door knocking, anything like that. Does anybody have any thoughts on those things?
They all sound great.
And
We
then they're all in the agenda too. So, you all have access to it and we can always talk about it in the group chat because I know we are at 8:24.
Mhm. Yeah, no, these are great. And county advocacy efforts are going to be outstanding, especially with all the new people who wanted to join the policy committee. So we got a lot of stuff to look forward to, man. This will be great.
Yes. Well, if nobody has any, no questions, no input on any of those at this time, does anybody just have anything on their mind that they wanna let out before we close out? Polling for election day is always a good idea. Yes, yes, definitely.
But I don't mean polling for a candidate though. Like I just mean polling like to tell them about the organization.
Oh yeah, so tabling.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, yes. No, you're right. Anybody else? Karen, Paul, you still there? Aaliyah, anything?
I'm good. Sorry, I'm snacking.
No, it's all good. It's all good,
Yeah,
girl.
I'm packing for a trip tomorrow.
Oh, okay. No worries. No worries.
I guess
And
one thing.
Dooney oh, sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
I guess one thing is if we could consider tabling at a Maryland Day at UMD on the
on the 26th in April.
Oh, yeah. I like that idea. We could do that. Can you also send that to me, Paul? So I don't forget, though. Just shoot it to me in a text message when you get the chance. Or in the Discord. Dooney, do you have anything that you wanted to add?
I was just trying to figure out what
Thank you,
collaboration.
Paul. Sorry.
You're good. Collaboration could look like with the CBCF, but when I flesh that out, I'll get back to you all.
Okay. Cool. Rashad.
No, man. I believe at this point, all that's left is for you to close us out.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming out today, for showing up and helping us move the agenda along. And good night.